You are still watching your favorite magazine show where we test your football knowledge every week. This week, I simply want to know how many under-17 AFCON titles has Cameroon won? Keep watching the show to get the answer, but without further delay, let me introduce to you K1's shining sun, S.C. Kadebe.
Great introduction, thank you. Hello to everyone at home.
S.C., we were talking about the under-17 AFCON qualifiers last week, and so much has happened in the space of 1 week.
Yeah.
We saw Congo's dreams of participating in the competition drown under a hailstorm of Cameroonian pepper. 6-0 in Douala. That was terrible.
Cameroon is sending a huge message, sending a huge message to everyone in the tournament to say, hey guys, we're coming up. And I sense something coming through. And if you look at their stats, it tells you a lot about their stats. 22 goals scored in 3 matches, 3 out of 3 wins out of these games. They've got the biggest score line. They gave one of the teams that qualified. That surprised me. How does that happen? A team that has been beaten 9, which is Central African Republic, beaten by Cameroon 9-0, and they still qualify. So those are the 2 teams or the 2 countries that qualified out of the central zones. It's going to be interesting to see what Central African Republic, they are new, and they're coming up against, in their own group, which is Group D, they're coming up against Mali, which is one of the countries that have won this thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yes, the indomitable Cubs looking like the king of the under-17 AFCON jungle, really. They're playing so well. And I want to give a special shout out to David Mimbang, who walked away with the player of the tournament, and also Franck Luma, who won the Golden Boot at this tournament with 8 goals. Any players that stood out to you, SC?
Yeah, there were, man. I mean, you look at David Yannick Bondoma, finished with the most assists, about 6 of them. And then also you look at Junior Abuo Lopez walking away with the Golden Gloves Award. Shout out to them.
SC, I want to report something that happened during the week to you.
Okay.
There was a certain pundit that is basically taking the gloss off this AFCON tournament that we love so much. He came out to say that the AFCON tournament is not a major tournament. Step forward, Jamie Carragher. Do you feel he should be jailed for that comment? And do you secretly agree with him, given that the prize money of the Euros and the AFCON, there's a big gulf in that?
Starting from the ending part of your statement or your paragraph, Ade, the prize money of this, Motsepe has come out, Patrice Motsepe, rather Dr. Patrice Motsepe has come out to say, look,
put some respect on his
name. I have to. I mean, what he's doing into the continent in terms of the football is amazing. When we look at probably the growth in numbers, it tells us a lot, man. 54% in audience, higher than the previous tournament. And this thing is equating at about 22.3 million viewers watching AFCON. That tells you a lot. If you look at 2022, it was sitting at about 14.4 million viewers. That tells you a lot. And globally, we're looking at 2 billion. It's estimated to be sitting at about 2 billion. Heading into the conversation of Jamie Carragher.
Yes.
Jamie Carragher, man. Yeah, look, Africa would jail him for saying something like this.
Yes, and Ian Wright said it right when he said the AFCON is one of the most disrespected tournaments.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand came out to say, he was talking about you hardly see players from European countries not going to the Euros, for example, to represent their country. Representing your country is the biggest honor, one of the biggest honors a footballer can have. What do you think of players that don't want to represent their country at the AFCON?
Look, it goes in 2 ways, Ade, when you ask me that question, because now some footballers, when they look at it, they say, look, I go play for the national team, I come back injured, and I cannot produce for my own team. But at the same time, playing for your country, it's something that's prideful. And we know that here in Africa, we've got so many proverbs that reiterate to that, a child that is banished away from their own town will come back and ban it. And we don't want to see that. In the sense, when we say come back and ban it, if a player is not playing for their respective country, he's probably burning his own country in the tournament. So we don't
Well,
want to see that.
speaking of burning places down, it was about Mohamed Salah, really, and how he's been burning down the English Premier League. And Carragher coming out to say that he doesn't see him winning the Ballon d'Or with just winning the league and playing for the AFCON, which is not a major tournament. But back in Mohamed Salah's home country, there was one of the biggest, fiercest derbies on the continent, the Cairo derby. S.C, tell us more about that.
I have to give it out to the Moroccan players. They're doing great things. It tells you why Morocco came out to probably play in the third finalist in the World Cup. Quite interesting that 2 Moroccan players scored in this derby. Though I have to give it to Al Ahly, man. They're just a powerhouse, man. With all the injuries they're going through, and they're still able to manage to pull out a team that fights.
And a team that really is in transition, so to speak. They still have players that are leaving, players that they need to replace. SC, I also have to ask you about what happened in Congo. We saw the Congolese derby played behind closed doors. Why?
Look, before I answer that, Ade, if you look at the previous AFCON that we played, sorry just to move away from the question that you're asking at hand, but I will come back to it. The liveliness that you saw in the stands brings us something from the players, you know. That's what we play for. We want to see their happy faces, and we bring happy faces in football. Though the reasons behind this is also for the fans as well, to say we're protecting them and we're safeguarding them. You look at what the acting mayor of Lubumbashi, which is Tonda Chansa, that said, look, we need to safeguard our fans, and the reasons behind the game being played behind closed doors was that, safety reasons. Safety
reasons. Well, hey, we don't have such reasons here when we ask SC for his prediction. And Mamelodi Sundowns versus Kaizer Chiefs, the big one in the PSL.
Earlier on, I heard Auntie Diski probably saying something to me in my ear, saying that she doesn't see that Sundowns is going to score 4 goals in this. I'm telling her right now that they are going to score 4 goals. Sundowns will win this match.
Well, if he gets this prediction wrong, you know right here on the FA show, we're going to cook him like we've been doing Jamie Carragher on social media. On that note, we're going on a short break, but we'll be back. Restez à l'écoute.